the most bizarre eyes in the world. Number 1. The hairy eye. This eye is both bizarre and a bit gross. This is a photo of a 19-year-old man who walked into an ophthalmology clinic to see 2 doctors. He had a mass in his right eye since he was born, and it has been growing over the years. The mass was not painful, however, it makes it difficult for the man to see. It was also uncomfortable when he blinked, and he often felt that he had something in his eye. Luckily, the mass was removed, and his eye looks perfectly normal now. Number 2. Eyes with 2 pupils. This condition is called pupilla duplex. It is a medical phenomenon and it has never been seen today. It actually is a non-existent condition in medical literature. It is, however, a myth in China. It has been said that Li Cheng, the Minister of State in China in the year of 995 AD, suffered from it. This photo of the man was featured on an episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not, and the world was amazed. There has even been a wax rendition of the man made, and it is on display in Louis Tussauds Palace of Wax. Number 3. The man with no right eye. A man named Billy Owen was diagnosed with sinonasal undifferentiated carcinoma, which is a very rare form of cancer which affects the nasal cavity. Sadly, there is only a 10% survival rate. Owen was working as a motorcycle mechanic and has a wife and an infant son when he was diagnosed. He wanted the doctors to be as aggressive in the treatment as possible when it was discovered that the cancer had spread so extensively that the doctors had to remove half of his face, including his right eye, nerves, and muscles. Today, there is a huge hole where his right eye used to be. Today, he can stick his finger in the eye and make it come out of his mouth. Number 4. Crazy popping eyes. A woman named Kim Goodman has the ability to pop her eyes out of their sockets by 0.47 inches. She actually holds the world record for the farthest protruding. When she was a child growing up in Chicago, Illinois, she was hit in the head with a hockey mask and her eyes popped out. Today, she can make them pop whenever she wants, and they often pop when she yawns. Number 5. Eye piercings. Over the years, more and more people were getting into body piercing. Many people get their eyebrows pierced, which is not the same as getting your eye pierced. This type of piercing needs to be done by a cosmetic surgeon, and it can be very dangerous. It can either go through the eyelid or right through the eyeball. It is very risky. However, it will definitely get you some attention. Number 6. The eye smoker. This man, who lives in the Chinese city of Shanghai, can actually smoke a cigarette through his eyes or through his ears. When he puts the cigarette in his eye, he scrunches up his face to take a drag. The internal suction will bring the smoke through his nasal cavity, and he then blows the smoke out of his ears or his mouth. It is one of the strangest things that you will ever see. Number 7. Retina cancer. Retina cancer is also called retinoblastoma. It is a very rare type of cancer that is often seen in children under the age of 5. It affects the retina, which is the part of the eye that detects light and color. In serious cases, the retina needs to be removed, leaving the eye looking like this. Number 8. The eye tooth implant. Martin Jones from England lost his sight and was blind for over a decade. Doctors implanted a piece of a tooth into his eye. They used his canine tooth from his own mouth. The doctors then used a man-made lens and placed it under the lid of his eye. This was done so that the tissue could grow over the tooth. The doctors also had to take a piece of skin from his mouth and they put it on the tooth. This is so that his eyes would have access to a blood supply. Finally, a cut was made in his cornea so that light could enter his eye. There have been over 600 people who have had this surgery. Number 9. Eye with two-tooth tumor. This is an example of the most bizarre eyes in the world. This woman had a very strange tumor in her eye. It was made of teeth. When the doctors went in to remove the tumor, they were shocked to find 2 teeth inside. The actual term for the tumor is teratoma. It pushed into her optic nerve and made it impossible for her to see. The doctors in southern India were able to remove the tumor and said that this type of tumor is extremely rare. Number 10. Extra skin around the eyes. The man in this photo has more skin than most around his eyes. This makes it possible for him to grab his eyes, sockets and all, and bring them down to his face. While it looks very strange, the man looks completely normal when he is not pulling his eyes down his face. Subscribe for more, and we'll be seeing you. You get it? You get it? Seeing you? We're talking about bizarre eyes? Never mind.